Good afternoon, folks. now you got me curious, but I can't. Well, or maybe I can, but everybody will hear. Plus, it depends if it's good stuff or not. All right, let me do this disclosure before I can do jokes with Billy Jones. I'm an associate member of T3 Trading Group, which is an SEC registered broker dealer and member of FINRA SIPC. All of my trades are placed through T3 Trading Group. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your own financial condition. Position disclosure is the same, except the matter that TZA, which was an IWM short, as the IWM finally got back to the ADMA on the daily. So out of that, trying to wind down some positions, but we got NVDA. It's NVDA day, so I don't know. I feel like it's not a normal afternoon meeting because we're just going to be trading NVDA. I am holding a TQQQ short position into this. So there's a pretty big expected move on that. I think that the expected move for the Qs is like 2.5% or 2.8% or something, and or $9 maybe. So TQQQ, I think for me, is expecting to move like 5.5 on this. It's a big move. What's NVIDIA price for again? Is it 14? Is 14 the number? Josh, is 14 the number? Josh is saying yes, 14. We got CrowdStrike out. CrowdStrike is trading up a little bit here, a little all over the place. Their fiscal year 2025 revenue guidance includes an estimated impact in the high single-digit millions to professional services revenue in the second half of fiscal year 25 as a result of incentives related to our customer commitment package. Josh. We got Salesforce also. CrowdStrike, EPS, $1.04 versus 97 cents. Beats. They see their revenue below expectations, 979 million to 984 million versus expectations of about $1 billion. Not sure if that even matters with where the stock's been trading. I guess it does a little bit. But guidance is a miss. And fiscal year revenue guidance is also a miss. What's Salesforce doing? Salesforce up a little bit. They boost their EPS forecast. They see their third quarter revenue light of expectations, though. 9.31 to 9.36 billion, versus estimates of 9.42 billion. That doesn't seem great for Salesforce. And we've got a firm. A firm is ripping. Firm guides up. They see first quarter revenue 640 to 670 million versus expectations of about 632 million. Some nice guidance beat for a firm. Firm seems like the clear winner here right now. All right, 6 minutes. I guess I can try to gab a little bit while we wait.
Coffee talk.
Some coffee talk. I don't even know what that means, Josh. Turn the video on the YouTube. Yeah, this NVIDIA day feels more like the Apple day, how we used to just kind of cancel the afternoon meeting for Apple and hang out and watch what the price action looks like. Pretty weak day today. SPYs are down 0.7%, including any after-hours action that we've had so far. And it looks like we're down a little bit after hours, but SPY's down. At one point, the SPY was down 1%, and I was thinking about the vol control buying a little less. But 0.7% is not too bad. It was even less than that. Q's down 1.2%, basically. IWM down 0.7%. So the Q's took the brunt of that SMCI this morning. Daily charts. Yeah, SMCI just brutal on that news that they're delaying disclosing their numbers. Not what you want. A lot of chatter of accounting fraud. I don't know how true it is, but it's definitely not what you want, and that helped to bring these Qs down. Qs now gave that full correction to the 21 EMA. There's a gap fill below 468.40, which, what's the low of the day today? 468.90. So we got a little bit into that gap, but didn't hold down there and then trade it back up. But none of this matters, I don't think, until we see what NVIDIA looks like. NVIDIA is going to change all the technical picture here. And the IWM fully corrected back down to the 80 MA on the daily, but still held the key 216 area. 216 is the starting point from Jackson Hole's Jerome Powell speech. So that 216 is important. We're still above it. When does Jensen speak? At 5? So everything I've read says that the CO commentary is more important than even these initial numbers. At 5 o'clock, right? So we're going to get 40 minutes of price action just off the numbers before he speaks. Should be fun. So yeah, we actually had a little bit of a weak day on Wall Street, helped by SMCI, despite all the buy flow that's still out there for this market. Some de-risking perhaps into NVIDIA. Where's NVIDIA right now? 125. NVIDIA basically closed down a little over 2%, 2.25%, something like that on the day. So starting around 125.50 here as we go into the number in the next 3 minutes. Got the little jittery feeling. I love that feeling. The soon to come big move feeling. What strike there, you Vixie Bull? That was from yesterday morning, I think, Tate. But appreciate you posting it like always. Full BP, Pat? Full BP in NVIDIA? I don't know what's gonna happen with this NVIDIA. I got no idea. But bagel to head, as Josh would say. Bagel to head. I'm gonna go with down, but less than the measured move, which is $14, right? So what's that bring us down to? 111, 112. I'm going to say down, but not the full measure. Josh, bagel to head?
Up, but they smack any up move.
Up, but they smack any up move. You heard it. Up. Place your bets. We got 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Let's put it this way. By the time we walk in tomorrow morning, it'll be lower than where we are.
Brant says up on NVIDIA, and then they keep buying it.
Now I got to short it just on Brant's comments.
NVIDIA ticking up a couple dollars right in front of them. I hate when they do this. Somebody's like,
get me in before.
No, algos are going nuts. It's not even out yet, you crazy algos. Chill out. All right, 15 seconds. Stock traded up to 128 before the number even hit. Remember that whisper number is higher. Should be out. Let's see, a little back down tick. There we go, lower. Lower. NVIDIA gross margin is a small beat. NVIDIA second quarter revenue looks like it's a beat at 30 billion. I think that's less than the whisper number though. Stock's a little all over the place, kind of not doing much. They see Q3 revenue at 32.5 billion plus or minus 2%. I don't have a expectation next to that. Sell side had 33.
Okay.
Also, they missed on the sell side. That should be not good. Stock's up. That looks like a miss on that third quarter revenue number, but the stock is taking it in stride. How boring would it be if the stock just stayed at 125.50? Ah, there you go. NVIDIA approves additional $50 billion in share buyback. Watch out shorts. Not a huge number, I guess. Second quarter gaming revenue beats 2.9 billion versus estimates of 2.79 billion. Yeah, Mike Reed. A little bit. Yeah, I mean, the third quarter revenue number there, I'm surprised we're not getting hit a little bit more on that, but the buyback helps a little bit, helps to offset it. Blackwell samples are shipping to partners and customers. $50 billion. What's the market cap though now? It's a big number. 50 billion is a big number. But when you compare it to a $3 trillion market cap, maybe it's not that big, but it's a big number. Third quarter sales forecast tops estimate. Do you see an estimate on that on the third quarter sales forecast? What the estimate was? We're trading back down now a little bit. I don't know. It feels like pre AI universe is the last time it sold off on an earnings report. I feel like I overheard CNBC say something about that earlier, but I wasn't paying attention because I don't pay attention to CNBC.
Yeah, $2 trillion company with a $50 billion pipeline.
$3 trillion, no?
Yeah, that's what I meant. This quarter's not good enough.
I don't think this quarter is good enough either.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you. So they see their third quarter revenue at 32.5 billion versus an estimate of 31.9. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think that's good enough. Stock's starting to get hit now a little bit. Can Jensen save it, or is he like, man, I cashed out? Didn't you guys see when I was cashing out? I cashed out. Qs still are not down at yesterday's low, despite the fact that this NVIDIA is starting to get hit. I'm actually surprised that the Qs aren't trading worse right now. What's the IWM doing off this? Anything? Nothing. Q's getting down to yesterday's low now. I gotta manage this T-triple-Q position here a little bit. Took some off.
I'm long NVIDIA.
I don't hate the spot, but be careful.
I sold some NVIDIA. Sold more NVIDIA. And I'm flat NVIDIA. Here for you.
I covered a bunch of T-Triple-Q almost at the low tick. NVIDIA bouncing back, retesting 120. What was the NVIDIA low there? 115? I think the measured move is closer to like 111, right?
Oh, my buy was 115.16.
Pretty good price. NVIDIA expects several $billion in Blackwell revenue in the fourth quarter. I think that's helping the uptick. Yeah, AMD down a little bit. I mean, these Qs are coming all the way right back. I just re-shorted some of the Qs that I covered at the low. Yeah, bouncing back a little bit off the Q4 headline for Blackwell. NVIDIA almost all the way back to where it started. This is kind of what I called for, right? Didn't I say down but not the full measured move?
You did.
Right.
What do you know? Just makes logical sense. I don't know. It's always a guess, though.
Now if it takes out the highs, this thing is off to the races. But it
Don't think it will.
has a lot of work to do to take out the highs.
Yeah,
But if
I don't
does,
think
then
it will
it'll
take out
really
that high. I mean, the starting point's like 125.50. What's the high on this bar? We got back up to 124. It's a pretty good retracement. I haven't really been watching the NVIDIA tape because I've been watching the T-Triple-Q itself. I think it was a little shallow on that on the downside there, Tracy. It was more like 112-ish that you had to get down to, but got close. Let's have a look at this NVIDIA tape. Billy, you okay? 122, maybe some selling coming in on the offer. Covered some T-Triple-Q. Yawn. I don't know. I don't think it's that boring. It's not massively exciting either. It's because we didn't get a huge move here initially. But we still have Jensen to speak. I struggle to see him saying anything that can bring the stock down more, though. If the numbers were good enough, and the numbers are good enough. Watch that 120 again. Oh, I didn't even know Dell was reporting. Dell reported? It's hard to look at that Dell and know if the move's off NVIDIA or if it's off itself. Hewlett-Packard up? Interesting. NVIDIA 120 test here. Some liquidity on the bid, but not enough for how it's trading. No real buying to speak of there at 120, and 119.65 is refreshing on the offer. It broke it. But I was surprised to see that 120 didn't put up a little bit more of a fight on the bid. They went right through it. Might be indicating a little bit of a lack of demand. Trying to see if there's also a bigger seller here. Haven't really been able to identify anything. 40 sold there? No, broke. Thing's doing a lot of volume here after hours. I covered more T-triple-Q.
Welcome back. Leave your ticket out. Welcome back. Same old place that you laughed about.
This NVIDIA is very heavy right now. The way once they broke that 120 that way, it was like a problem.
See you, buddy.
See you, Billy. Have a great night. Thanks, man.
All right, brother. Good night, tonight. Not too late, Josh.
Not too late.
All right, well, I mean, we can continue to watch this price action. Stock's moving pretty good. Otherwise, 5 o'clock is when the CEO speaks, which is a lot of expectations around what he'll say as far as guidance. I'm pretty sure I read a couple things that said that you can expect the move to be bigger on the CEO commentary than it is on the actual numbers. We'll see if that's true or not. 119.50 just sold pretty heavily there on the offer. This thing is still pretty heavy. They broke it though. Wow, it was a big uptick on that break. Somebody just swept a buy. Right back below 120. 120 dumping. So I didn't see any buying like that. I mean, they're obviously taking the offer as well, but I didn't see any real buying come in at all. That was very obvious and significant. Yeah, Chewy was great. That was on our radar today. I was glad to see that a few people on the team caught this Chewy long this morning. One of the best ideas of the day, I think. I would not touch that SMCI right now until the dust settles. Those headlines were very bad this morning. It's not something I would consider fighting to the long side till we get more information. NVIDIA is still battling 120. Technically, time is a bear's friend. Sticking around this 120. 80 MA after hours at 122.80 still. So again, it's not anything crazy, and I don't think that earnings report calls for, you know, a down 25% move or anything like that on this NVIDIA. But I also don't think it calls for the stock to be up. A lot of hype. A lot of hype around this name. If tech is crowded, only means one thing. Buy more XBI. Yeah, I'm curious to see if a moderate sell-off in NVIDIA creates a bid for the IWM, which in turn would create a bid for like your XBI. That's kind of what I'm thinking. A moderate sell-off in NVIDIA, I think, creates rotation. A major sell-off in NVIDIA, which was unlikely and now is even more unlikely, could just wreck the whole market in such a way where correlations increase on the way down a little bit. But this move is relatively moderate. I mean, we started at 125.50. We're trading at, 121.25 right now. Nothing to be too worried about necessarily, but we still got to see what happens. If you start losing that 115 low, you might have bigger problems, but we are a ways away from that. All right, I don't have anything. I don't have anything to talk about really. You know, the whole day felt like it was a weekday, but it all felt like it was just waiting for NVIDIA. So I really don't have anything to chat about. I'm just still kind of in wait and see mode to see how the dust settles on this NVIDIA and the impact that it has to the indexes. Take a look at these Qs with where they are right now. I just covered some T-triple-Q actually. NVIDIA 121 QQQ candle is back into the it's like fighting with the gap, which starts at like 168.40, which is pretty much where we're trading right now. But then there's a gap fill down to, you know, 163, 165, kind of that area. Volume typically stays light even for a week or two after Labor Day. Volume typically doesn't pick back up until more like mid-September. Oh yeah, we have numbers tomorrow also. We have I think GDP and the employment number tomorrow. Unemployment claims. Should be market moving a little bit also. Anybody have any questions or comments? All right, me neither. What do you guys want me to do? I'm not in a rush. I could just end it here, or we could just sit around and watch NVIDIA. But it's kind of just doing nothing. There's not really much to do or read here. You don't, if you're trying to stay bearish on NVIDIA, I wouldn't want to see this get back above 123-ish now. False print in this chart. This NVIDIA chart's making it difficult to see what that high was, but I think we had a bounce back high of 124. I wouldn't really want to see it get above 123.
I mean, it's a good quarter. Don't get me wrong.
It's a good quarter.
It's a good quarter. Like, and any other company that hasn't had a move like this has had, that has a quarter like that, the stock's up a ton.
It's a good quarter.
I just don't know that it's like good enough to take this thing to new.
I don't think it's good enough. It's a really good quarter. I don't think it's good enough.
But will they crush it? No.
Which was my whole kind of thought process around stock trades down, but doesn't even give you the measured move. Is that I bet they'll put up good numbers, but the expectations are just so high at this point that it's very, very hard to really go.
But what's most meaningful now over the next couple of days is really like what everything else does based on now that this report's out of the way. Like that'll dictate kind of what.
Yeah, this was the big event, which would be interesting if it just is a boring event. Like even Jerome Powell at Jackson Hole, I know it triggered the IWM for a big move, but like I thought that was a relatively boring situation compared to just like the hype around it. At least with the market reaction. Powell himself didn't disappoint, you know, taking that victory lap. But see your question there, Ahmad. For the call, which begins in about 25 minutes, most questions will zero in on how many billions of dollars in revenue Blackwell will generate in the fourth quarter. If management clarifies that and gives a projection on the high side, look for a positive reaction. Absent that, analysts will ask if the conservative forecast is an indication that growth is suffering because of a significant delay. Some good commentary. From Ahmad here in the VTF, given the expected move in NVIDIA, is there a bias in keeping the stock in range for tomorrow? In other words, have the puts and calls expire out of the money? Yeah, I mean there typically is a bias to hold that expected move for the dealers, and the dealers are typically the smart money. So yes. It doesn't mean we have to be at 125. Right now we just traded back above 124 in this NVIDIA. snapping back nicely. It doesn't mean that NVIDIA needs to be unchanged, but it needs to roughly stay between 112 on the downside and like, I don't know, 139 on the upside, 138ish on the upside. Yeah. So that's definitely the incentive, and I think that will happen unless they really say something in the conference call. No problem. Taft saying Market Watch, the company anticipates fiscal third quarter revenue of $32.5 billion. Analysts had been expecting $31.7 billion. So it's a little bit of a beat on the sell side analyst number, but at least one analyst had noted buy side expectations around 33 to 34 billion, and some are hopeful that NVIDIA's guidance would beat the consensus view by 2 billion. Yeah, for sure. And that's really the important number, is that whisper number. Usually we don't get a view towards that into an earnings report, but that's really what's more important. NVIDIA missed the buy side estimate but beat the sell side estimate. From Cyril in the YouTube asking me about the Chewy Daily candle. If it was my position, I still would have kept it, yes. Despite, I mean, it depends a little bit on what price I got. And I don't love that upside tail, but it closed above the breakout. So as long as you had a decent price, as long as your price is like no worse than, I would say, like 27.70, then I probably would swing that Chewy if it was my position. Yeah, Uvixi Bull asking me, did you see that quote where someone said they'd rather go broke than lose the AI race? One of the Mag 7 CEOs. I think it was Google, and I think it was the former, what the hell was the guy's name? The Russian guy with the Russian name at NVIDIA. Was it Sergey Brin or the other one? There's two of them. One of those two was the one that said that quote, that they would rather go broke than miss out on the AI race. And I'm sure he's still very influential in the company, but he is not the CEO. Yep, that's right, John. Anybody else? IWM looks like it is up 10 cents after hours. NVIDIA just pivoted back down a little bit. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here because I'm not gonna stay on the radio all throughout the call anyway. It's just a little too much time. So I'll just wrap it up here. You know, NVIDIA reported. This is the big event of the week. Otherwise, it's been a relatively quiet week. The initial move here is lower. We'll see what happens after 5 o'clock, if we get a little more clarity on the move, on the price action. And then, you know, we'll see how we end up gapping tomorrow and you know, set up our plan. And that's it. So have a great night, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow. And if you're in the YouTube, give me that thumbs up.